Hello, I'm Oliver Colling, and this is my 70s TV childhood. Welcome back to my 70s TV childhood. We are the best, if possibly the only podcast which celebrates what it was like to grow up in the UK during the 1970s and the important role that television played in ours and our families' lives back then. If you're a new listener, then you are very welcome. And if you're a regular listener, we thank you for your support. This podcast would not exist if it wasn't for the amount of engagement we have with all of you out there in podcast land. It never fails to move me that so many of you do get in touch to comment on things we've mentioned in the podcast or to share your memories of your own childhoods. If you do want to get in touch, you can do so in a number of ways. You can leave a comment on our blog at www.my70stvchildhood.com or on our Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter/X or LinkedIn pages. I think I've covered most of social media there. You can also get in touch by sending an email to oliver@my70stvchildhood.com. First off, I'd like to go to our bulging digital postbag. And I'd like to mention a few of the comments I've had recently. Firstly, enormous thanks to Michael, who's been in touch via email and social media with lots of fabulous suggestions for future episodes. Thank you, Michael, for all of your suggestions. We're currently planning our schedule for Season 7, which starts in January, so we will see which of your suggestions we might be able to fit in the plan for 2026. Also, big thank you to Sally, and hello Sally, who's been in touch from Texas, where she's been living for the last 23 years after growing up in Cornwall. I'm so glad that you're enjoying the podcast. Thanks for getting in touch, and we're really pleased that you're flying the flag for us in Texas. Oh, and before I forget, I would also like to remind listeners that we're still looking for listener questions for our pre-Christmas quiz, where all questions will be sourced from your brains. If you have some great questions for us, then do send them to quiz@my70stvchildhood.com by the 30th of November. And we'll try and use as many as we can when we record the quiz in the run-up to Christmas. This episode is scheduled to be released in November, which was always a time as a child I felt very conscious that winter was drawing in. Bonfire night was always a big thing for our family, like many others I'm sure. We oohed and ahed in the back garden as my father got fireworks out of a biscuit tin, one at a time, lit them at arm's length, using a taper of course, which never saw service at any other time during the year, and stood well back. Our box of standard fireworks kept us royally entertained for, at least 40 minutes or so with Roman candles, traffic lights, Catherine wheels, before we finished off with 2 or 3 rockets. All very innocent, but very much part of our family folklore. Of course, there was always one dud firework in every box which you had to then leave because, according to the fireworks code, you're not allowed to go back to a firework once it's been lit. We always used to wait until the next morning to clear them up, which does seem a little bit of a long time to wait to make sure the firework isn't going to go off. I blame those public information films. But anyway, after the excitement of Bonfire night, it always seemed like a long, dark run from then until Christmas. So on those dark, late afternoons, the role of television seemed to take on even more importance than usual. It was too dark to play outside, so nestling on the couch to watch television seemed a very appealing prospect. And one of the shows I remember watching always raised a smile, but more of that in a little while. In thinking about this episode, I've been aware that different generations find different things funny. Today's younger people find the appeal of, say, Morecambe Wise, Tommy Cooper and others a bit limited, whereas I in turn find that some of today's fated so-called comedians don't raise as much of a smile from me. And I think it's always been like that. I remember watching old films as a child featuring the likes of Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton, and while some of them were vaguely amusing, I didn't find them as hilarious as audiences did in the 1920s, for example. Some of the comic films of the 30s and 40s didn't age well either, although Laurel and Hardy and Will Hay are exceptions to that in my opinion. Then when I was growing up, my mother was a big fan of the Goons, that radio show, and used to tell me about some of the hilarious episodes of the show she remembered from the 1950s. Now, I don't know about you, but the Goons leaves me cold. I don't understand why the audience is roaring with laughter, and I have tried to listen. The great BBC4 Extra radio station regularly features the show, and I have tried listening, but still, I really have very little idea as to what the appeal was. Looking at the cast and what they went on to do, we can see the obvious successes that Peter Sellers, Spike Milligan and Harry Seacombe had. Today, though, I'd like to look at the legacy of the fourth Goon, Michael Bentine, and in particular, his legendary children's show Potty Time, or Michael Bentine's Potty Time, as many of us knew it as. My memories of the show are, as in many cases, quite vague, but they do make me smile.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to...
Michael Bentine's Potty Time, take one.
Thank you very much indeed, Claire.
So today we're talking about a little slice of eccentric brilliance, a show that if you mention it to anybody over about the age of 45, elicits either a fond smile, a nostalgic sigh, or a slightly confused expression followed by words like, I think I might have dreamt that. Michael Bentine's Potty Time was a show full of tiny puppets, daft voices, impossible chaos, nonsensical plots, and the sort of handmade charm that feels quintessentially British. So settle in and prepare yourself for a nostalgia trip covering comedy, history, and probably far more discussion about little wooden men than any adult should admit to. Before we talk about Potty Time, let's talk about the man himself, Michael Bentine. Actor, comedian, writer, inventor, adventurer, RAF officer, and, as we mentioned, founding member of the Goons. Bentine was the sort of multi-talented British eccentric you can't help but admire. He could go from writing comedy sketches to inventing bizarre contraptions to performing voices for a bunch of puppets that looked, well, a bit like large corks with wigs. He was born in 1922, which means he was effectively raised on a diet of classic British eccentricity, combined with wartime inventiveness and the kind humour where someone walking into a lamppost is considered high art. Michael Bentine presided over a sort of gentle chaos on Potty Time. His comedy wasn't cruel. It was clever, surreal, and really full of warmth. And Potty Time captured all those elements beautifully, I think. He also had this extraordinary ability to find wonder in the simplest things. Give him a couple of boxes, a weird hat and a blow-up camel, and he'd create an entire sketch out of it. He once said that he loved the puppets because they could do things that humans couldn't. Which I suppose is true, but also because seeing a puppet falling over can actually be funnier than a human falling over. Just have a go at home. Next time someone's telling you a boring story, try knocking over a teddy or something like that. Yeah, it makes it much better. Michael Bentine's Potty Time premiered in 1973 on ITV, and it ran throughout the 70s and I think into the early 80s. And if you never saw it, but you're imagining something refined and classy with carefully crafted educational messaging, then I think I better stop you there. There were vague educational elements, in the sense that you technically learned something from each episode. But it was usually something like, the average lifespan of a cardboard castle in high winds is about 30 seconds, or if you put 4 of the Potties in a boat, it will sink dramatically and they'll all be shrieking at each other. So for those of you that either don't remember the show, or who need a refresher, each episode tended to feature the Potties, as of the title, who were these tiny wooden puppets. They had rather wiggly legs and huge noses, and generally lacked features of any other kind, so no eyes or anything like that. We'd have Michael Bentine narrating and voicing everybody, and occasionally acting alongside them. And generally every episode was a retelling of famous historical events, and often done very badly. It's full of slapstick, explosions and chaos, just the sorts of thing that little children love. Basically, we think of the modern day horrible histories with an element of the sort of artistic nature of Vision On. If you put those together and then assume that both had taken mild hallucinogenics, that's the kind of vibe that you got from it. The show was produced by Thames Television, and like many classic children's shows of the era, it was made with love, a minimal budget, and absolute disregard for modern health and safety. Today, if you were making this show, you'd need a risk assessment just to say the word catapult. Back then, Michael Bentine was firing all sorts of stuff, including tiny screaming puppets, across the studio as if it was perfectly normal. And again, we kids loved it. Now, thinking about the potties themselves, if you're under 40 or if you didn't watch television in your youth and have never seen one, just a spoiler here, you may be listening to the wrong podcast if that's the case. Imagine a small wooden sort of doll made out of a peg. Now imagine it's wearing a big hat. It's flailing its legs like a toddler on a trampoline and making strange vowel noises. That's a sort of description of a potty. They were deliberately simple, almost crude. No facial features beyond a nose, as I say. No hands, no mouth, just a tiny body and wobbly limbs. And yet, thanks to Bentine's voice acting and comic timing, they were all full of personality. Each potty walked as if it stepped on a bit of broken glass, and they all shouted like they were mad. And during most episodes, several potties died dramatically, some of them at least twice an episode, because many of the historic reconstructions involved battle scenes from famous battles, so lots of explosions and screaming. And again, kids loved them. Adults pretended they didn't, but I think many adults, including my mother I seem to remember, secretly liked them too. Here's the potty interpretation of Christopher Columbus.
Well, I've just been opening the Potty Encyclopedia, and it's open at the letter G, and it says, G for the globe of the potty world.
Yes. Well, yes, the globe of the potty world, yes.
Yeah.
And, of course, you know who we can thank for that round globe of the world that we have on our desks.
No, I don't. Who?
Oh, none other than Christopher Columbus. CC, as he was called. The yes man. You follow me? Yes, CC, you see. Christopher Columbus also CC, which of course means, in Spanish.
Yes,
Rather clever play on words. Yes,
Very good.
man.
Very good.
Never mind. You see, Christopher Columbus was the first man to realize that the earth was round.
Oh, I see.
Oh, what a wonderful moment that must have been when Christopher Columbus first said, "Hey, what do you know, Martin? I just got a wonderful idea. The earth, she's round."
Don't you feel so good, huh? You gone crazy with the heat, Christopher? Maybe you drink too much sangria last night. Everybody knows that the earth, she's flat.
No, Martin. She's not flat. She's round.
No, Christopher. If the world she's round, then all the water would fall off her like the ball. Christopher, look, my friend, tell me, if the world's round, then why don't all the water fall off it, huh?
Look, Martin, I'm a very busy man, huh? You want I should discover gravity too, maybe?
Part of the silliness and the attraction of the show was the range of silly voices, all provided by Michael Bentine himself. Tiny muttering voices, squeaks, odd grunts, and occasionally a full-blown operatic tantrum. It was perfect. It was comedy delivered with a child's imagination, a grown man's skill, and a studio's leftover craft materials. Like so many of the shows we talk about on this podcast, I do remember it well, and remember laughing at the silly goings-on in it. But my memory of any actual storylines is a bit vague. I do remember a few, though. As I mentioned earlier, lots of the historic reconstructions were of battles, and the Battle of Trafalgar, Potty style, consisted of lots of tiny boats, massive waves made of cardboard, and Lord Nelson reduced to being a potty with a hat that was a bit too big for his head. All against a setting of cannons firing corks across the studio. Was it educational? Well, yes, I suppose it was in a way, but was it accurate? Well, you can't have everything, can you? I also remember an episode set in the Wild West featuring a potty sheriff facing off against a similarly potty outlaw in a duel on the main street of a potty set, complete with saloons, stables, and of course silly voices. There were also lots of historic adventures featuring things like the Romans and the Vikings and the ancient Egyptians, all very exciting, but as I remember, it's always slightly bonkers. Here's Michael looking at the history of the Crown Jewels with the beefeaters at the Tower of London, who failed to notice a couple of very suspicious characters walking past them towards the Crown Jewels.
Hello? Hello?
Halt. Who goes there? Friend or foe?
Friend, my name is Bentine from Potty Time.
Oh, that's my favourite programme.
Really?
How do you do?
How do you do? Who are you?
I'm Beefeater Braithwaite.
Braithwaite. Have you got a relation in the police?
Oh, I do indeed. Yes, that's my boy. My son, Bert Braithwaite. Oh,
Really?
I'm very proud of that lad.
Yes, I'm sure. Yes.
Now, what can I do for you, sir?
Well, we're going to do a program about the security precautions for the Crown Jewels.
Oh, really? How interesting. Oh, well, you'll want to talk to my chief beefeater, Mr. Bloggs.
Oh, good.
Mr. Bloggs?
Yes, Braithwaite.
It's Mr. Bentine, a reporter from Potty Time to see you, sir. He wants to know about us guarding the Crown Jewels.
Well, now, Mr. Bentine, you can rest assured that the Crown Jewels are quite safe. Quite safe.
Good.
With Braithwaite and myself guarding them.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning. Ciao, fellas. Sure, fellas, ciao.
Enjoying your visit to the Tower of London, gentlemen?
Molto bene. Sure, it's a fine at the Tower of London. It's bellissima. It's very nice. Very nice.
Don't miss the Crown Jewels. A wonderful sight, you know. Yes. The first on the left, and then straight on. Can't miss them.
Oh, you love the Crown Jewels, gentlemen. We sure will, fellas. Ciao. Sure, fellas, ciao.
Yes, we always try to make our overseas visitors feel at home in the tower. Hey, Braithwaite.
Oh, we certainly do that, Mr. Bloggs.
Yes. What sort of precautions do you normally take to guard the Crown Jewels?
Eternal vigilance. Eternal vigilance.
Oh, yes.
Day and night, we beefeaters guard those precious jewels with our lives.
Yes.
Hey, Braithwaite.
Oh, that we do, Mr. Bloggs.
We are also, of course, backed by all the modern anti-burglary equipment, such as infrared, invisible rays, electronic detection defences, and, of course, closed-circuit television.
Oh, I'd like to see someone just try and get through our security network. Oh, someone has.
Nonsense, Braithwaite. It's probably one of the tower ravens has flown, fluttering its little wings into the infrared beam.
Oh, a false alarm.
Of course, no one would seriously try and steal the Crown Jewels. Not unless they were stuck raving Potty. Check the alarm system, Braithwaite.
All very silly, but funny too. So why did Potty Time become such a beloved part of British childhood? Well, my thoughts, for what they're worth, are these. It was genuinely funny, causing viewers of all ages to laugh out loud at its slapstick, absurdity and charm. One thing that was really important was it never appeared to talk down to us kids. It trusted children to get the joke, even some of the ones which were possibly a little bit adult and very, very surreal. And it felt authentic and homemade. And I mean that in the best way. There's a certain warmth to low-budget creativity. Kids felt they could make their own potties at home, and I think frequently did. And then there's Michael Bentine himself. His voice brought everything to life. He had this way of sounding amused, confused, but also very authoritative all at once. And then I suppose it was a very suitable show for 1970s Britain. Partly for economic reasons. This was a time of gentle, cheaply made, imaginative British TV, in an age before everything needed CGI, slick branding or celebrity names attached to it. It was simple, rather clever, and lots of fun. And we'll finish with an excerpt from the Potty version of Treasure Island.
Splendid fella, that Smollett, you know. He knows his job, Livesey, knows his job. I'm worried about Jim Harkins, Squire. Disappearing like that. It's not like young Jim at all. Oh, he's probably run off somewhere. Oh, he'll be all right, you know. Boys will be boys. You? Oh, well, bless King George's kneecaps. Look at that, Livesey. A giant native.
Where?
Aye, he is a bit tall.
Speaky English?
Well, of course.
Oh, splendid, splendid. What do you know, Livesey? He probably picked up a few words from passing ships stopping for water, eh? Possibly, Squire. You native, me squire. Him doctor. Which doctor? Oh, steady on, Squire. Look, we come from across great water in big canoe.
Yes. I know exactly who you are. You're Squire Trelawney and he's Dr. Livesey, because I've just read the book. Marvellous
Great
book.
balls of fire. He does speak English, Livesey. Get it. Have you seen anything of the boy, Jim Hawkins?
No, I'm sorry, Doctor, not a sign.
Look out, my lads. It's the Hispaniola. 2 points on the port side on the horizon.
Oh!
Get under cover quickly, Squire. Doctor, and you giant.
Who, me?
Get under cover.
All right, sir, yes.
That's Israel Hands. He was Captain Flint, the pirate's chief gunner. Keep low, lads. Hold your fire. They're out of musket range. Abandon stockade, gentlemen. We'll hide in the rocks.
Thank you, Michael Bentine. I still don't get the Goons, but I will never forget Potty Time. Do you remember Potty Time? Am I alone in not getting the Goons? And did any of you make your own potties when you were children? Do let me know by getting in touch by the methods I was mentioning earlier, or by dropping an email to oliver@my70stvchildhood.com. That's all for now. We will be back next week with the next of our 70s related TV quizzes, and in a fortnight with another regular podcast. Until then, take care. Please remember to like, rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to join us again soon for more from My 70s TV Childhood.